Just wanted to come on here and share. This is my Saturday. How are you all doing? I'm not working. Yay. I have my headset on. I live, breathe, and eat by this old headset. Um, One of these days I'll get something more appeasing to the eye. Just wanted to come on here and share a story. This is not for your 12-year-old, your 13-year-old, because we're going to go there. We're going to have the sex talk, right? Kind of in general. So I had a family member and we had like a get together. And this family member had told me how he went on a date. And I was just like, oh, you went on a date. How cool. Like, and this is a grown adult, mind you. I just want you to know it was an adult. And he said, yeah, he had went out on this date and that they had kind of, you know, went to full base. And I was just like, okay. I said, well, cool. I said, you use protection, right? And he was like, yeah, I used protection. Everything was good. And I was just like, there was just a hidden tone. Now, mind you, I work on the phone all day, so tone is everything. So I was like, okay, yeah, there was something just didn't sit right. So I thought, "Oh, I'll wait. So a couple weeks later, this person is, and our cousins are out in the pool, and the guys know that they can talk. We can talk about anything because they will get my honest opinion. They don't have to agree with it, but it's my honest opinion. And because I love them and care about them, I will always give them my honest feedback. Um, you know, a couple of things. I have girlfriends. I have seven sisters, one brother, four girls, and two stepdaughters. I'm raising a granddaughter, and I find that it is so much better to have that open communication where we can discuss anything. I don't want them to be afraid to come talk to me because if you need a lawyer, I can tell you how to lawyer up. If you think you did something, you're going to go to jail. I would hope you didn't, but we'll get through it. I know people who don't have those support systems to have those conversations, those tough talks, and I think it leaves them wide open to bad situations. And um, I think most of the adult kids or even teenagers feel pretty comfortable talking to me about situations that maybe you wouldn't normally talk to your mom, your dad. You wouldn't talk to your grandma. I would hope that you would. I had an open communication with my parents. I mean, open. If I wanted to know something about things that I should not want to know anything about, I could ask my mom and dad, and my mother and father would come to me and we would talk about them. And I always got that direct opinion. It was a very, it was a good experience. It was a good life lesson to not be afraid, to go to those very people that I would hope my children feel they can come and talk to me or that they can have those conversations with. Not everybody has that. And so we're in my house and we're talking and he's went out on a date. He's excited. And I'm excited for him. Okay. By all means, I am 100% on board, excited, want him to, I want him to embrace the fact. This person is very shy, didn't know that he would ever put himself out there to go out on a date. And I was thrilled. I thought, okay, we've got past the ugly. So now he's like in that good position. And then he said something about they, it was like a home run. And I was like, home run. Hmm. I said, so you like went all the way? And he's like, yeah. And I said, you use protection, right? And he's like, yeah, I use protection. Now, mind you, I hear people all day in my headset. So tone is everything. And the look on your face is everything too. So there was just a look. And then there was a tone that came with it that made me like, why am I just not feeling like I'm getting the whole story here? But, hey, it was a family event. I didn't really push the subject. And so a couple weeks later, we're all in my backyard pool. me and the cousins, and most of these cousins are guys, but they're not afraid to talk to me about anything either because they know I come from the Midwest. I grew up on 180 acres. It doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl, we're going to have those conversations. Um, so I looked at him and I was like, "Did you use protection?" And he's like, "Well, no." And I'm like, "What? What? You didn't?" And he's like, "No, but I'm sure we're good." And I said, "How do we know we're good? What does I'm good mean? What does that mean?" So it was like, my thought process is, have you fallen and bumped your head? Because I know they do sex ed in school. I know that um, I know he's been raised in a great family. I know that he's had those talks. I'm like, So I'm like, well, what makes you think you're good? And I'm looking at him serious because this is serious. When you put yourself in a position that might bring a child into the world without any thought at the moment, which I get it. We're working off pure emotion. Okay, we're not working off intelligence. We're not working off of what we know we've learned. We're working off of, I feel hot, I feel heavy, and this is going to be fun. Okay, great, great. But you chose this, so let's discuss what that choice may look like. And so, and men and women are different. Okay, I had a doctor one time tell one of my kids this, and it was the smartest thing I ever heard. Because I'm just direct. So the smartest thing I ever heard was when guys and girls are dating, women think he's going to buy me the picket fence. I'm going to have the house. I'm going to have the children, and I'm not going to have to work, and I'm going to get to hang out in the house, right? And I'm going to get to love my family. Reality is, it takes two parents nowadays to raise a family. There's very few that get to stay at home, do nothing but take care of the kids and the family because of the cost of living. One. Number two, the other thing is boys or teenagers or even grown men until they're 28, 29, sometimes even into their 30s think, I tap that ass. Okay? That's the difference. Okay? Women think, I got the prince, I'm going to be a princess, and I'm going to get the white picket fence in the house. And men think, I tapped that ass, I got her, yeah, I'm good, I'm all that. And he goes and brags to his friends. And maybe he doesn't brag to his friends, but the point is that's the difference in the mentality of how women and men see things at certain ages when they're younger. And so that was the best conversation I'd ever heard, was my doctor just being straightforward with my daughter and saying, I know today you see, oh, he's wonderful. He's got this going on. He's got that. And he's going to do this, 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 and this for me. And he sees it as, yeah, I was enough to tap that ass, get in her pants, and move on. So here's the thing. So we're in my backyard and I'm asking this question. I'm like, well, how do you know that, since you didn't use protection, how do you know that she's not going to be pregnant? And he's like, oh, I know, I pulled out. And I'm like, what does that mean? Because now I'm playing the dumb card because I want to know where his mindset is. Where is he going with this? What does this look like for him? And of course, my other cousins are laughing and I'm like, oh, don't think I won't have this conversation with you because I would. And so, um, he's like, well, I pulled out and I said, so you're sure? Like one or two of those little sperm things didn't swim up in there and like impregnate her? I said, have you talked to her since this? And it was a no. No, they had not talked. No, they had no communication after. So that told me that she saw it as a one night stand, whereas his mentality was kind of the opposite. I mean, because, he was raised right. He was thinking that he was in love, and it was a very short lived and very quick lesson. It was a hard lesson to learn, but in the same sense, at the time, it was we're going to have a life together. And unfortunately, that wasn't the case. And so, but at the time, I want to keep this subject light. So I'm keeping it kind of direct but light. And so I'm like, so how do you know that, she just didn't get pregnant, no sperm? And he's like, well, I pulled out. And I said, so you came on her belly, da 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 da, and for sure, nothing like accidentally swam up in there and is impregnating her. And he's like, no. And I said, well, I know a lot of people 20 years down the road, they find out they had a kid that they knew nothing about. And I said, so you probably ought to make sure, you might ask her, she liked him enough to sleep with him, so they should be able to have those conversations. And so, it, my biggest thing was child support, being a father, and loving your child are great. But if you have not had those conversations prior, I don't know that you should be just bumping and grinding and going home. Because accidents do happen and things do happen. And so to make light of it, I just looked at him so every time I saw him for like the first or second month after, I was like, have you heard from her? Is everything okay? Is she pregnant? Are we sure? And I did that because one, I wanted to put a little bit of fear. The next time you decide to do this, think about it. Number two, you know, I didn't want him to think that we were just passing the buck, like we were just not going to think about it. I'm sure he didn't want to think about it. Who wants to think about, oh, I had fun this one night, but nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that. So anyhow, and it was crazy. It was one of those conversations that you wish you never had to have, but in the same sense, I just thought it was necessary. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was. Maybe he'll think next time. I don't know. In the heat of the moment, people don't think with their brain. They think with their erection. They think with their, your lips, your tongue, your feel, your touch. It becomes more about that adrenaline and those feelings and the how you feel when someone touches you. It was not about reality. Okay. And I don't know how many people I know over the years who have ended up in situations where reality is we made a mistake last night and we're going to pay for it for 18 to 20 some years. Um, and I don't know that you pay for it. For me, my children were always a blessing, no matter what, good, bad, ugly, and decent. If, but there are people that are not mentally prepared for those steps in life. And mm, these, this person I don't think was ready for that. Like he would like to have the marriage, the relationship, and I think we skipped past the relationship part and went straight into let's have a family kind of thing without thinking. I don't think that was his thought, but that was the action. And I'm glad we moved on from that, but in the same sense, you know, I hope that the next time more mindful that he's using his head, not his heart or his hands or his lips or his tongue to get to that, to just make sure that thought process is there. So that's my subject for this Saturday. And then the other thing is, oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm a techie kind of, well, I'm kind of techie, kind of gadgety. I'm not as techie as I'd like to be. There's so much new technology out there. I just can't keep up with it. But I got this cheap little microphone, and it was cheap. I've paid hundreds of dollars for mics, like Shure mics and things like that. And to be honest with you, I haven't learned how to hook all that stuff up to the computer. So I'm a work in progress. One day I'll come in here and you'll see all kinds of gadgets that were never here before, and it's just going to be because I wanted to play with it. But I gotta say, I bought this little microphone, and anybody who's just starting out or just wants to have fun, I am big. Okay, so I always say I'm an LED junkie, light junkie. I love LED lights. They don't get hot. When I was a DJ, I remember years ago, we had these lights and you had to change them out every 10 minutes or they'd get hot and they'd blow a fuse or they'd just get hot and they would quit working. So then when LEDs came out, it was like a whole new world. It was like, yes. Okay, so check this out. LED. This little button right here changes the light color. I don't know if you guys can see that. And this little thing, you just tap it, and when it turns red, it's muted. It is so cool. And then it has volume, it has gain on it, and it has reverb. But it's just very simple, plain, but fun, right? And who doesn't want fun? I mean, first of all, it's Saturday, but I want fun every day because life can become pretty mundane when we're not finding a little fun. Um, Vivitar makes that. I bought that at Wally World, and it was the greatest thing ever. And it has been a lot of fun to use, actually. Um, One other thing I definitely need to share is so I like fun things. Okay, so here, you guys see this bear in the background. All right, this is my bear, right? So like sometimes I'm a big kid. Like I really am. Like I'm grown up with grown up thoughts, but sometimes I just want to be like I just want fun things, you know? Life can get mundane, we can get busy working and always being so serious. Well, being serious is great when it's needed, but life can be so serious sometimes. Sometimes I think we need to step back, have a little fun, and just enjoy life and the things around us and the people that give us joy or pleasure or happiness or whatever. Behind me you will see DVDs and my badges, and on that light over there you will see my lanyards for work, lanyards from concerts, some necklaces hanging there. I just hang stuff. I'm funny that way. And then other than that, the other thing I love, makeup. Makeup is like your face is a palette. Use it, play with it. I am a huge makeup junkie. Do I want to promote people's makeup? Absolutely. Do I sometime want to um, create maybe a channel for that? Possibly, maybe in the future. The other thing is, I would do like a 50 and above kind of makeup tutorial thing. And then the other thing that I do like to paint on canvas. Um, it's kind of just therapeutic for me and music. I was a DJ for years. I love all kinds of music. There's not really, I don't think there's a genre that I don't like. Other than that, gosh, I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. I hope you got a little entertainment with my story. Send me your feedback. One of these days, we'll have some drawings. Other than that, I hope that you guys take care of yourselves, you find joy in life. And again, my name's Kat, and it's been a pleasure working and visiting with you guys today.